Hi, Dad. Is your daughter having problems at school? Wow, it's that time of the year. Especially if you're going to a new school, a new place, going from grade school to middle school to high school, changing schools, bus schedules. Everything seems to be going on. Summer was great, but summer's over. It's back to school time. And there always seems to be something. There's a new bully, there's a new kid, there's a new this, there's a new teacher. There's just all these problems. And especially dads, we can have such a hard time, I think, with this emotional thing. It seems like it could be so emotional. Now, don't get me wrong. I had problems. I changed schools when I was in the middle of the season, when I was in 8th grade, and it was just like, oh man, this is tough. I got no friends. My dad got very frustrated with me, and he said, look, we're going to have to send you back to the other school. We were moving. So I was a long ways away. My mom was staying and changing jobs, and it was just a bunch of stuff. So it was my dad's responsibility to try to take care of me, and being in a new school and having all these changes just wasn't exactly what I wanted, wasn't what he signed up for. He was having enough problems trying to keep things going because of the move himself. Okay, so what am I saying? There's enough stuff going on, and it's really emotional, and the emotional side of it can get the best of you. And so it's very hard to defray that emotion, especially when you want to move into dad mode and say, look, you're going to have to suck it up and get this thing done. Well, that might work for the boys. I doubt it. But I don't think it's going to work with the daughters very well at all. And at that point, we move into our old friend, think, feel. So us dads, we're just trying to say, well, this is what I think you should do, and you're going to have to suck it up, and you're going to have to make this thing happen. Where on the girl side, it's just like, oh man, these kids, they don't like me. I don't have any clothes that I like. I don't like my subject. Oh, this teacher's been picking on me. Oh, and so then it's all this emotional thing. Well, it's the same thing that we always talk about, unfortunately, it seems, like communication. And what happens there is this idea of moving when you got to understand that this is emotional. Yes, there is some fact set. But especially, I think with girls, you need to get through the emotional side maybe sooner than the fact side. It can go both ways. But you must learn, or we need to learn, that it's got to be both head and heart. And maybe the core, the things that are really, oh boy, if he's really going. But make sure, however you start, and I would really suggest that you start on the feeling side. Well, why do you feel that, honey? And just see what happens. Because a lot of times, just that catharsis of getting all that emotion out, or telling a story that you've had it, we've all had it, and then say, okay, well, I know you've got all these feelings, but let's try and see if we can figure out what the facts are. So, who is this girl, boy, teacher who's bugging you? And what really makes you feel that way? Why are they getting in your head? Why are they getting at you? And being in a calm time, because what will happen typically, I know for me, now I'm coming back, I've got work, I got all my own stuff going, right? And in comes daughter, it's just like, oh, I'm not going to that school again. And it's just like, yes, you are, young lady. So in a calm time, let that happen. Let that pass. Because this is going to happen. This is real stuff. This is real stuff for her, real stuff for you. So say, okay, if you can get in a calm space and think about thinking and feeling instead of what's the situation and why does it feel this way, you can get a lot more progress done and get a plan of action. Again, this is a dad thing. It's the plan of action. Okay, so let me think about it. Nothing wrong with that. Or maybe you do have a plan of action. But if you hear what your daughter is saying, and you can come back and say, for me, let me sleep on it. Let me think about it. And come back and actually say, okay, here's what I think. So let's try this, and giving them a couple of solutions. Let's try this. Talk about it tonight. Let's try that. Talk about it tonight. So this engagement of going in the space with them wins really good relationships points for you, Dad. But you got to get in the space, you got to act, and you got to say, daughter, this is way beyond my pay grade. You better talk to Mom about this. From my perspective, that's a real cop-out, Dad, simply because this is a lot of your stuff. Solving problems. That's what we do. That's what we like to do. But you have to get both the head and the heart engaged in these really emotional problems. You can do this, Dad. Calm down, take a breath yourself, come up with a solution, and help your daughter. Thanks for stopping by.